So as you could have seen in the WhatsApp group today, we have a special guest speaker. And I would like to ask Pastor Dominic, could you introduce our guest speaker for today?
Thank you, Sister Adana. Today we have the privilege of welcoming Dr. Oke Ndubeze in our midst, who is going to talk about finding your compass. So we are privileged to have him because I've been tracking him, but now he has the time to talk on this topic. Dr. Oke, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for accepting the invite to come and minister to us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my own privilege. You would rather put it the other way around. It's my own privilege to be here this evening to share with you. I will go ahead to share my screen, if that is okay.
That's fine, of course.
All right. All right. I hope, is everybody seeing my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Our talk today will be largely on purpose. Pastor Don told me we've been having some discussions on purpose. So tonight's discussion is to take it further to expound on it. So it's drawn from our compass series. Compass, we all know what compass is. It's compass we use to find direction. When you're lost, you rely on compass to track your way back. So we've named this talk compass series. So this is the first out of the four, is in 4 parts actually. But this one is the one that deals on purpose. So we've called it Finding Your Compass. This evening talk will be guided by a central question. What is the purpose of my life? What is the purpose of my life? There was once a very ascetic monk, or he lived in the 7th century, is one of those fathers of the church, St. John Climacus. So he lived for 40 years in Mount Sinai in solitary life of meditation and contemplation. So he wrote this very classic book about called The Ladder of Divine Ascent. So there are about 30 ladders. So, and each of those ladders is a chapter in his book. So in chapter 26, he dealt on discernment. So he wrote what is very instructive for me. He wrote, there's a place on chapter 15 of that, verse 15 of that chapter, he wrote, if some are still dominated by their former bad habits and yet can teach by mere words, let them teach. For perhaps being put to shame by their own words, they will eventually begin to practice what they teach. This part of this meaning was also captured by Gilpin that says, we teach best what we ourselves need most to know. And we write best about lessons we also need to learn. So this, I find very consolation in these words, because I'm here today, this evening, not as a teacher at all. I am not here as an expert. I am just here as one of you to also listen to myself so that we can also share collectively and grow. So it's with that humility that I am accepting to lead the discussion this evening. This program will run quickly. This program will do some few exercise. We'll start the exercise, we'll introduce. Then we will discuss what is purpose. So after that, we'll have a short video break. And then we will look at what is actually my purpose. After that, we'll look at some archetypes of purpose. And then we'll have 2 series of exercise, 5 minutes, depending on the time. We'll see how it goes. And then we'll have our conclusion, and then we'll have our questions and answers quickly. So shortly, I want us to just have a short reflection. This is exercise number 1. So if I just want all of us here to just think back about, just take your time about a minute. This is 3 minutes exercise, but listen to me as I lead this, our trying to reflect on some things. So just take a moment and think back if you had any childhood dreams. If you, at one point as a child or just some time ago, dream of doing something? Or is there something you wanted to do? And somehow you allowed yourself or somebody to talk you out of it. And you abandoned it. You never pushed that forward. Just take some time and think about it. So in this reflection, when was the actual time you gave up? Can you remember the actual time you decided, oh, I cannot continue with this, or this is too much, or something, you gave it up? When did you decide to abandon that dream? Was there any reason? What were the reasons? Or was it out of fear of something that you couldn't do it, or there's no money, or there's no support? What is it that led you to abandon such dream if you had it? Take some time to reflect on it. And now, if you look back at the reasons or the fear for abandoning such a dream or aspiration, were those fears, do they hold true today? Do you think that if you didn't have those limitations or those fears or the reason you gave yourself to abandon such an aspiration, that there may have been opportunities you see now, many years further on, that could have helped you to achieve that desire, or at least help you along the way to get you closer to that dream? Just take some bit of time to also think about. So this small exercise we have gotten us to start thinking. Thinking is what occurs to us, is naturally comes to us. We are thinking beings. God gives us a sense of reason. Perhaps that is also why we are different from most of God's creation, that we can sit down and think. We have the type of brain that we can reflect on things. And this evening, it's more of reflection. This is what we'll come here to think. Brothers and sisters, let us reason together. So this evening, we'll be thinking about purpose. So let's go treasure hunting and try to discover what is our purpose in life. It will be good if any of us already have a defined purpose in life. You're already very clear in your mind. That would be wonderful. And if you're pursuing your purpose. But really, when you reflect about it, you will see that most of us are like Swiss knife, that could do so many things. But but we end up using Swiss, this wonderful knife to just peel oranges. We once have a knife in the house. We still do a Swiss knife. We only use it on holidays. And at the end of the day, we only cut oranges or fruit with it, So, but you look at this wonderful multi-tool that could do so many things. But unfortunately, just to do the simplest of tasks. And in truth, most of our life are like that because we can do so many things. We are gifted to do so many things. But in most cases, we may find that we are stuck just doing, just exploring just a little bit of our capacity and capability and gifts and potential. So in this situation, at times, it may lead people to be feeling that they are not really where they want to be. A feeling of not being where you want to be. In such a situation, it is important to reflect and check, am I really here am I in my purpose? Am I really pursuing my purpose? What is it? That is also why it is necessary, because at times you could see even successful people that are sad, that are not happy, and others will look at them, what is wrong with these people? But even at the height, being at the height of the mountain, they don't feel fulfilled. So that is why it's necessary to always come back to look at purpose. What is purpose? Our purpose is the ultimate reason of creating anything. Purpose is the reason. We want to believe that everything has a purpose. There is a purpose for everything. If you look around you, everything around you has a purpose. Everything, the clothing you're wearing, the chair you're sitting on, the computer screen you're looking at, everything you can touch and feel around you, the chair you're sitting on, the table, is a purpose for everything. If you look at yourself, your skin, your nose, your ears, your legs, your arm, everything you can sense, actually there's a purpose for it. So purpose is the reason for creating something. If you are creating something, you want to do something, there's a reason why you want to do it. That's a purpose. And so we would like to believe that it is a reason for something to exist. And therefore, if we are here, we should also be interested, what is my purpose? What am I doing in this place? But going further to our discussion, it would be good for us to make a quick distinction about purpose, what is passion, what is goal, the differences between them and the linkages between them. Passion is what excites you, what brings you joy, what do you love doing? Or is it love to paint? Are you fascinated by human anatomy, for instance? So passion are often activities or subjects. Goals, career goal is, professional milestone, your achievement, what you want to achieve as a profession. Probably you want to be a surgeon, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a surgeon, and you want to be good at it. You want to achieve that status of being a surgeon. It will be a career goal. So, but purpose is the underlying why that drives you. What is it that What is the reason you do what you do? What do you want to contribute, or to where do you want to make an impact with your skill? So you can have a passion. For instance, you have a passion for surgery, but what is the purpose? Your purpose may be to heal people. So you're using your skill in surgery to heal people, to give people better health outcomes. And in doing so, probably at the end of the day, you become good, you become acknowledged, you achieve your desire. Everybody will say, yes, this man is a brilliant surgeon. But underneath, if you look at the illustration on the side, at the core of it is the purpose. Is the purpose that give meaning to your passion and can also give fuller meaning to you achieving satisfaction and fulfillment when you achieve your career goals. So actually, you see that it's purpose that connects who you are with what you do and the impact you want to make in life. That is why a purpose can guide your career goal and might even fuel your passion, but they are not the same thing. A passion that is a hobby is not automatically, it doesn't automatically equate to purpose. And your career goal, you can achieve, you can become a big professor, you can achieve whatever you want to career without any deep sense of purpose. And at the end of the day, that may also lead to frustration. So why is it important that we talk about purpose? Because first, purpose helps us to define our mission and vision in life. Purpose confers a sense of clarity, clears your eye. You are very, you have a very clear sense of what you want to do. It gives you a sense of worth. It gives you a sense of value. Because at times, purpose is something that is bigger than you. It's where you are called to serve. You're serving something greater than you. So it has a bigger sense of value and gives your life value and meaning. Purpose, it helps to define your direction, where you're going. Purpose helps to keep you focused, because once you have a mission, you're focused on it. It's like Moses was called, go purpose, go and set my people free, free them from bondage. So you have a definite mission. Everything Moses did, going back to all the plague, whatever, go back to Pharaoh, go and tell the people this, go on, is focused to achieving that purpose. Having purpose is also energizes, it empowers you. Is what is this battery? Duracell battery. So it gives you energy when you know where you're going and you are in tune with your purpose. It enables you to optimize your time, your attention, your resources, and so on and so forth. So these are all benefits of knowing your purpose. Let us take a time off to watch this video shortly. What I like about this video is talk about how we tend to postpone things that we want to do. Someday is not on a calendar. So it's just a short video clip, and I just want us to just briefly watch it, and then we can continue.
Someday isn't on the calendar. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's on there about 4 times a month. No someday. But when it comes to our dreams, probably the busiest day of the week. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we're all inspired? If the world wasn't full of uninspired people? We're all taught that life is tough. Life's a bitch. Life is hard. But it's not. Pretty easy, right? It's pretty easy to skate by and go through life. You all go through truth is that life is easy. Living, truly living, chasing a dream and truly living is hard. Living is a bitch. Living is tough, especially when you switch it and you ask yourself, what am I dying to do? What is it that puts that fire in my heart? And let me tell you, there is something, if you've ever chased a dream, you know that it lights a fire in your heart. And whether you reach it or not, it warms everyone around you and everything around you. Don't wait till someday to answer that question. There's nothing more important in your life than figuring that out. We're all dying. If you're not chasing your dream, you're already dead.
It's time to develop the habit right now. The habit of focusing on what's right in your world instead of what's wrong. The habit of focusing on what you do have instead of what you don't have in a situation. As basic as that is, as well as you know it, you've got to make it a habit. Because those habits form the chain of your ultimate character, of who you become and how you end up living your life. We've got to condition ourselves, because if we don't, we'll go back to the automatic state that most people live in today's society.
You get this? You get this. Every single one of you. If you're feeling pain, you are still alive. So I don't feel sorry for you that you're going through what you're going through. Because guess what? There's still time on the clock. If you're too old or too young, too thin, too fat, stop it right now. There's still time on the clock.
Not because they aim too high at this. Most people fail in life because they did just like I did for so many years. They aimed too low and didn't believe in themselves. Revisit and look at your goals and dreams, and let's raise the bar.
It's easy to let life deteriorate into making a living instead of designing a life. And we all have a choice: make a living or design a life.
Yeah, at least that gives us a short break. We'll come back. We'll start with this section with a test question. Is there anybody here that can express his or her life purpose in 20 seconds, or that can write it down in one sentence? Is there anybody? I'm not asking anybody to say it, but is there anybody? You could just stand in, if you're called on 20 seconds, you could just say, this is my purpose in my life, you know, my life, personal life purpose. You see, this is a bit difficult if you have not taken time like this evening to reflect about it, to think about it. And for most people, for most of us, our purpose is fuzzy. You may have an idea, you may have a leaning, but it is fuzzy. It is not very, very clear, especially if you have not taken time to reflect about it. For some people, it may be very easy, because there are some people that God have already solved it for them. There are people that are called, when you are in the womb, I called you, I picked you out. God will say, I picked you to be my prophet, and he's already given it to you. So that for few of us that are like that, that is problem solved. But for most people, to figure it out themselves is a bit of a challenge, unless we do what we are doing this evening, to reflect about it and think about it. And so let's establish some foundations and some building blocks in trying to discern what our purpose is. Purpose is something that calls for self-reflection. Who am I? What am I doing here? Where am I going? What am I trying to get? To know your purpose, you need to reflect in this. In catechism class, when I was still a young boy, for First Holy Communion class, I still remember, why did God create you? Is a catechism question. Why are you created by God? God created in his own image and likeness. Why? Why did God create you? What is the purpose for God to create you? And I could still remember clearly the catechism says that God created me to know him, to love him, to worship him. So in this life, to worship him in this life, so that I can be with him in the afterlife forever. So, but this purpose is a general purpose for creating all of us. If it holds true, so it means that 8-point-something billion people in the world, this is the purpose of God, for create us human beings, to give adoration and worship to God. But we also know that we as an individual, we are special individual. That's why we have our fingerprints. These days, you can have biometrics in your eyes, because no two individuals are the same. So what is your own particular purpose? How do you serve in this overall purpose of God? How do you fit in there? Where are you going to give? What type of service are you going to give? Given the gift and skills God has endowed you with. So it calls for a lot of self-reflection. What is important to me? What do I find important in this life? What do I love to do? Who do I even do it for? The people that I do these things for, what do they need or what do they want? And how is what I'm doing affecting them? How do they change as a result? These are things that you keep on reflecting for you to be able to discern, okay, that this is what my purpose is. But to do so, I want to give some series of tip questions that will follow this contemplation. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you love most to do for yourself and for other people? What is it that when you do it, even for other people, you love it so much, you enjoy it? What are the ideas you love to talk about, you feel passionate about, or you want to read about, or you spend time doing? What is it that truly defines you? What values? What have you done that you're proud of? You could look back and say, yes, I'm proud of myself for doing this. These are questions you should be asking yourself. When have you been the happiest time of your life? When was it? Why? What qualities do you most admire in people, in other people? Who are your role models? Why are they your role models? What values and quality do you see in those people? Because those things may be what is important to you. So what is it that you do when you do them, you feel complete, you lose sense of time, you lose yourself in it. You don't even know whether you're hungry or whether you're going to eat, because you are lost doing it. What is those things? Or what are those things? What is it that people tell you that you're good at? Because at times, other people see you better. What are your most important virtues or values, norms, principles? Courage, or being honest, or helping others, or what is it? You need to think this thing through. What is the type of work you'll be doing? You will still do even if you win a lottery. Even if you win a lottery that you don't need to work anymore, you're a millionaire, multi-millionaire. What are those things that you won't mind you keep doing? What differences do you want to make in this life? What do you want to be remembered for? These are things you should be thinking. These are tip questions that will help you in your self-reflection. if you have to change the world, if God said, okay, I will give you everything, everything you wish will come true, what is it? Pray for one thing in this world and I'll give it to you. What would that one thing be? What are the things that frustrate you most? What do you think that the world needs most? What is it that you love to do as a child? So some of these questions could help you to gradually work your way into defining your purpose. Now we quickly touch on the archetypes. Archetypes means there's archetypical paths that people follow. Whenever you discover your path in life, your purpose, it will likely fall under any of these 7. Most likely. You will have a healer or a helper. People like in medical doctors or people who work in care, people that love to help others. It must not be a professional medical, or people that devote their life to help other people in need. Or are you a builder? You are gifted to turning nothing into something. Some people have ideas, but they don't know how to materialize that idea. But are you a builder that once you get hold of an idea, you can make it? You can transform it into what people can see and feel? Or are you an artist that use sound, sight, paint, whatever to create forms, to perform, to imagine things of beauty and aesthetics and meaning? Or are you a leader? A leader, a king, somebody that's in front, that people follow. You have a gift, that people listen to you. People can follow you. People admire you for your qualities, not by forcing them to do so, but they just gravitate to you and listen to you when you talk. Are you gifted to be a knight, a protector, to give security? People in the military or in the police force or in the National Guard or in the Coast Guard or in the immigration people, there are people that are called to do that. Are you a teacher, a sage? People that their passion is to look for knowledge, seek knowledge, and be able to transmit it to others? Or are you a goldsmith? People that love to do transactions, to give services, goods and service, exchange of goods and services. So these are different archetypes or paths. Which one do you recognize yourself? You may also have, because as I say, people are Swiss knives. You could do so many things. You could find yourself in more than one of these, 2 or 3 of these, but when you keep on looking, there may be one that stands most, where you have your highest, you see that you're drawn to. Which one of it? You could just use this as a guide. But in looking at these archetypes, archetypical parts, you will find out that it is embedded in service. Purpose is all about service. It's all about service. Where are you going to serve? In this grand scheme of things, why God created you, where are you going to serve Him and serve humanity? So which of these archetypes you could reflect that most captures and defines your core as your essence as a being, or who you want to be? These are all reflections we need to be doing. So let me just give you a secret tip. A secret tip or tips, 3 of them. In all these things about purpose, your purpose is also subject to your choice and free will. Know it. So you can simply choose your purpose. God has given you a free will and free will to exercise it. You know, there is this very funny story of Jonah. Jonah is a prophet of God. He knows, yes, he's working as a prophet. And then God gave him a specific injunction, go to Nineveh. Out of his own free will, he decided, no, I'm not going to Nineveh. Even when it's very clear, this is instruction from God. How can a prophet of God tell God no? It is in exercise of that free will. But in that funny story, you could see the relationship between God and man and how God allows people to exercise their free will. At the end of the day, Jonah decided to start moving in opposite direction than where he was sent, causing him to be swallowed by the whale and dumped him on the seashore where God wanted to. Even at that, when he went to Nineveh, he was doing it grumbling. He was even wishing that those people don't listen to him so that God will destroy them. You know, but you could see how God bared with him because he gave him a free will. I allow you to exercise that will. But at the end of the day, what is important is that we must always subject our will to the overall will of God. Because actually the will you have, we borrowed it from his will. So in everything we do, we must subject our will to the overall will of God. That is where we find fulfillment. So this secret tip is that you have a free will, you can choose your purpose. Another thing, another secret tip is that your purpose can grow. As you grow as a human being, as you develop as a human being, your purpose can grow with you. Just like a plant that is planted as a small seed and it keeps on growing and becoming bigger and bigger. So over time, your purpose can start being magnified, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And another thing is that you can redefine your purpose. At times, purpose is like metamorphosis. You know, you could see a butterfly is an egg, then it turns into a caterpillar, then it turns into a pupa, and finally it turns into a butterfly. You know, with any of those stages, you can recognize the butterfly. So, but what the secret tips, what they serve to tell us is that you don't belabor it. Don't make it too difficult more than it is. And get on with defining your purpose. And when you keep following it, if along the way you keep getting more knowledgeable, more enlightened, you can modify it, you can reshape it and go on. The important thing is that you keep seeking. So, having said that, let us quickly go and do this exercise. If we can, we'll just take some 5 minutes to do so. Let us try as the first exercise. Just if you have a piece of paper with you, try and see if you can write down. Just take your time, 5 minutes. Write down what you think or the ideas about your life purpose. Make it as short as possible. Not more than 50 words. Because at times, if it's also interesting, when you're writing your purpose, you write as you feel. Even if it's 1 page, 2 pages, you write it as you feel. Then gradually you start shrinking it down, narrowing it and shrinking it. But try, just if you have not done this type of exercise for once, these 5 minutes may just be good idea of doing something you have not done, try to do before, to write down, try and think through and write down what you think is your purpose in no more than 50 words. Starting from now, we have 5 minutes for this.
Dr. Okay?
Yeah.
Can Adana put some music?
Yes, yeah. That would be better. That would be nice.
So Adana, please.
That would be nice. You put music in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, then I have to share my screen.
Yeah.
So then your screen will be gone for a second.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Good.
Do I need to stop sharing?
Yes, stop sharing so that Adana will start sharing her own.
Yeah.
Okay. Adana, over to you.
Yes, I will share my screen.
So music about 3 minutes. Yeah.
Everybody lift it up. To the left. Lift your voice up. Lift your hands and worship. Hallelujah. To the Lamb. You shall be quite
I don't know if time.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Let me get back just to quickly share my screen again. Okay, share. Okay, now that we have done that, I want us to quickly do the second exercise. Let us try, if it is possible, let us try to, we'll do this exercise in pairs. If two people are sitting together, we'll just match and do that in pair. It calls for a lot of courage here. If you have written something down or you want to share something, just two people in pairs to share what you have, what you think is your purpose to another. If you could have a courage to speak it out, at least quietly to somebody else. Because at times, some of this, it could be very challenging. It requires a lot of courage to do. But if you can, it is not, try as much as possible. If you can, but it's not that it must. Try and do so. It will take about just, if you share with the person, then the other person, the person you're sharing with will also share his or her own idea. It mustn't be definite. It mustn't be wonderful. It may even be an idea of what. It mustn't be definite. It may be, okay, what are you thinking? What is it that is occurring to you? So if we can take about a few minutes.
Doc, some of us are in a different rooms and we are just on our own. So who will I share with the Holy Spirit?
Yes, yeah. If you are alone, then you don't have to share with your you could do this exercise sometime else. It's just for people that can do so. Is people that can do so, but we can also, if it's not possible to do it now, but it may be a good exercise for people to do. So I don't know, are there people that can do this?
Maybe people want to share in the group if they're courageous, they can share.
Yes, if that is possible. So we'll just give some few minutes to do. If anybody courageous enough to do it, if not now, probably we'll go on.
I can share mine.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so I had my life purpose is to help, teach, and love people. My purpose is to show people the light in the darkness. That's what I had.
Wonderful. Light in the darkness through, is it teaching? Is it through teaching or through helping out? How?
I think through teaching, but also just like being positive.
Yeah,
When for instance, I think with me it's also by having a certain energy. So I usually when I'm outside, I think like people can see from my energy that I'm really welcoming. Like I always have like that I'm walking outside and people just randomly start talking to me, like asking me questions. Even to be honest, like the people, the junkies or like the swervers, they talk to me, and yeah, to be honest, I talk back to them because I feel like sometimes they just want to share their story, and I would just listen to them and yeah,
yeah,
just be positive.
the gift of communication.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. So that is that at least this is your idea. It is something that you have to keep working on. You have to keep working on and keep reflecting on, and see now, how do you make it? How do you concretize it? How does it become definite that this is your life mission? What to do? Okay, if you have this gift to reach out to people, people can talk to you easily. How best now can you use it to serve mankind and humanity or the community around it? That is wonderful. We'll continue. In conclusion, in concluding this evening reflection, we have to leave time for questions and answers. George Harrison once said that if you don't know where you are going, at any road will take you there. And that will be the most unfortunate of situations. We definitely want to know where we are going and to pick a precise road and precise route to get to where you are going. And that direction of where you're going is when we find our compass, when we define our purpose in life, then we can be very deliberate on how to get there, not allowing just any road to take us to anywhere because we don't know actually where we are going. This is where we come to the end of this talk this evening. We have leave us some time for questions and answers and further discussions on, or people want to share their experiences or something about this talk this evening. It's now time for us to do so. Moderator, Adanna.
Yes.
Then you can take over to coordinate the questions and answers.
Yes, I will. But firstly, I really want to thank you, Dr. OK, for taking your time at first to do your research about finding our purpose and also taking us along with all the steps and all the advice and the tips you gave. So thank you so much for providing us this information about finding our purpose. I think it can be really relevant for anyone at any stage or any moment in their life to reflect on yourself. So thank you so much for providing this information. And as our manner is, now is the time to ask your questions or add contributions regarding this topic. If you have some, you can put them in the chat, you can raise up your hand, or you can unmute so that we can give you your turn to talk. So I don't really see hands. I see a clapping hands, so that must be a thank you. So that's also nice to see. I do see the hand of Sister Elizabeth. You can unmute and then say what you want to say.
Hello. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think it's never too late?
Absolutely. That is the purpose. What is also the video we watched? Didn't you watch it? There is still time on the clock. There is still time on the clock.
That's what I did.
There's always, of course, there's always there is still time on the clock. There's this Igbo adage that says, anything if you don't know exactly the end until it is the end. When the only time is late is at the point of giving off breath. But once you are alive, once God has given you life, then there's a purpose for you to still be alive. Yeah. So there's always a purpose. That's just as we say, there's a purpose for everything. Like we wake up every morning, you discover yourself, you come back to consciousness. We pray in the morning, we thank God for giving us this life this day. Mm-hmm. There is a purpose for God to sustain you through the night, what it is. So this is our overall mission, to be living our purpose and to achieve it and be fulfilled in it until it is done. The Moses mission in the Bible, Moses did not get to the promised land. said God took him. At a point, God took him to a high mountain. I said, you look over there. He saw the promised land. But he told him, you don't get into it because your purpose is done. Moses has finished his work. His work is to lead these people out of bondage. And it's done. So it's at the point you give up at the end of the day in your life. That is when we discover that's why we're doing all this exercise, so that at the end, at the very end, depending on how we live this life, we'll be surrounded by our loved ones and family, and you're contented that you have done what St. Paul said, that I have run the good race. I've kept the faith. So you already know his purpose, and he knows he has fulfilled it. He's contented, and therefore he's not afraid of anything. He's willing to walk into being persecuted and being killed in Rome and martyred. So it's never too late. Once you're still alive, you are living, you have to keep to see, okay, how do I live my purpose? How do I find my direction, and how do I keep it? There is a funny clip. It was a cartoon clip I had in my university days. I cut it out of the Guardian newspaper in Nigeria. Then it depicts a football team, 2 football teams. So one person was talking to his teammates. The opposing team had just scored 19-0. You know, there's 19-0 and the second half. And the opposing team have just scored 19-0. So this guy called his teammate for 2 of them to have heart-to-heart talk. So what the guy told his teammate is that I'm beginning to think that we might lose this match. So he's beginning to think that he might lose it. So even when they were 18-0 down, he still has hope that the game is still on, you know. So it's a measure of having faith, you know. So even at 19-0 down, the doubt is just beginning to creep in. It's not that he's convinced that they are going to even lose it, you know. So there is still time on the clock. As you could see, Vinicius, that was the guy that was talking on the small guy that was talking, that was in the wheelchair, that was talking. I still telling that it's time. He said, if you're old, you think you're old, you're fat, you're tall or thin, look at him. Just stop it. Stop it. He's such a small guy. He died a few years ago out of complication by his health, but he's like a giant in life. Even though he was only 2 feet something tall, with all the bone deformation and all sort of a problem as a child, you know, but he lived his life like a giant. So there is still time on the clock.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Elizabeth, for that question. I know we've crossed 8 o'clock, but Pastor Tuvi, am I correct that I also saw you unmute before I gave Sister Elizabeth a turn, or was that a mistake? No, Pastor Tuvi. So then we've crossed 8 o'clock. If there's someone still who has a question or contribution, now's the time. Because we will round up since 8 o'clock is our time to keep. So without waiting for someone else, again, Dr. OK, thank you so much for taking your time. And am I correct that this will be a follow-up next week for the part 2, or is that something you still need to discuss with the pastors? I don't know who I have to look at.
Yeah, it's something I still need to discuss with Dom and Emmanuel.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we have series. So either we do next week or probably do it in upper week, but
All right.
I will finalize with them.
Good to hear. Oh, I also saw that Pastor Tufi did not unmute. Then it's my mistake. Sorry, Pastor Tufi. Then we have come to the end of today's Bible study. I hope everyone enjoyed, also with our guest speaker today. Thank you for joining and for listening, being present. We always appreciate that. And also thank you for taking your time to be here.
Thank you, people, for having me and giving me the opportunity to have this wonderful time with you guys this evening. Thanks.
Of course. No problem. It's our privilege to have you.
No, it's my own privilege.
It's both our privilege then. I will stop the recording for now.